Halal Tawara Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Ruach Greetings to all the Israelites and to everybody. Okay, man, led by the Spirit, man. This is important message, man. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna touch about defilement comes from within, man, because this is crunch time and spiritual warfare is in full effect, man, and anybody could be touched, man. So now let's get with it, man. We're gonna start with Mark 7. It says defilement comes from within. Then the Pharisees of some of these scribes came together to him, having come from Jerusalem. Now when they saw some of his disciples eat bread with defilement, that is, with the unwashed hands, they found fault. For the Pharisees and all the Jews do not eat unless they wash their hands in a special way, holding the tradition of the elders. when they came from the marketplace, they do not eat unless they wash, and there are many other things which they have received and hold, like the washing of cups, pitchers, copper vessels, and couches. Then the Pharisees and scribes asked him, "Why do your disciples do not walk according to the traditions of the elders, but eat bread with unwashed hands?" And he answered and said to them, "Well did Isaiah Yeshayahu prophesy of you hypocrites, as is written, This people honor me with their lips, but their hearts is far from me, and in vain they worship me, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men. For laying aside the commandments of Elohim, you hold the traditions of men, the washing of pitchers and cups, and many other such things you do." He said to them, "All too well you reject the commandments of Yahweh Elohim, that you may keep your traditions. For Moses, honor your fathers and your mother, and he who curses father or mother, let him be put to death. But you say, if a man says to his father or mother, whatever profits you might receive from me is korban, that is a gift from Elohim, then you no longer let him do anything for his father or his mother, making the word of Elohim of no effect through your traditions which you have handed down, and many such things you do." Then he called all the multitudes to himself. He said to them, "Hear me, everyone, and understand. There is nothing that enters a man from outside which he can't defile him. But the things which come out of him, those are the things that defile a man. If anyone has ears to hear, let him hear." When he had entered a house away from the crowd, his disciples asked him concerning the parable. So he said to them, "Are you thus without understanding also? Do you not perceive that whatever enters a man from outside cannot defile him? Because it does not enter his heart, but his stomach, and is eliminated, thus purifying all food." And he said, "What comes out of a man that defiles a man? For from within, out of the heart of man, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornication, murder, lustful desires, man, through your heart and your mind can't stop thinking, because your flesh desires, man, wickedness, death, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lewdness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these things come from within and defile a man." And it says, "A Gentile shows her faith. From there he arose and went to the region of Tyre and Sidon, and he entered a house and wanted no one to know, but he could not be hidden. For a woman whose young daughter had an unclean spirit heard about him, and she came and fell at his feet. Then the woman was a Greek, a Syro-Phoenician by birth, and she kept asking him to cast the demon out of her daughter. But Yahushua said to her, "Let the children be filled first, for it is not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the little dogs." And she answered and said to him, "Yes, Adonai, yet even the little dogs under the table eat from the children's crumbs." Then he said to her, "For this saying to go your way, the demon has gone out of your daughter." And when she had come to her house, she found the demon gone out and her daughter lying in bed. And then it says here that Yahushua heals a deaf mute. Again, departed from the region of Tyre and Sidon, he came to the midst of the region of Decapolis at the Sea of Galilee. Then they brought to him one who was deaf and had an impediment in speech, and they begged him to put his hand on him. And he took him aside from the multitude and put his fingers on his ear, and he spat and touched his tongue, then looked up to the Shamaeans and signed and said to him, "Ephata," and that is, "be open." Immediately his ears were open, and immediate impediment of his tongue was loosened, and he spoke plainly. Then he commanded them that they should tell no one, but the more he commanded them, the more widely they proclaimed it. And they were astonished beyond measure, saying, "He has done all these things well. He makes both the deaf to hear and the mute to speak." Alright, man, that comes deep, man. Basically, it's like, all these lustly desires, they're within you, man. You have to, we all have to, like, discipline ourselves, man. Especially now, man. The kingdom is at hand, man. And we got to fight for this, man. Last leg. So now let's go to Luke 16, the parable of the unjust steward, man. He also said to his disciples, there was a certain rich man who had a steward, and an accusation was brought to him that this man was wasting his goods. So he called him and said to him, what is this I hear about you giving an account of your stewardship, for you can no longer be steward? Then the steward said within himself, what shall I do? For my master is taking the stewardship away from me. I cannot dig, I am ashamed to beg. I have resolved what to do, that when I am put out of the stewardship, they may receive me into their houses. So he called every one of his master's debtors to him and said to the first, how much do you owe my master? And he said, 100 measures of oil. So he said to him, take your bill and sit down quickly and write 50. Then he said to another, how much do you owe? So he said 100 measures of wheat, and he said to him, take your bill and write 80. So the master commanded the unjust steward, because he had dealt shrewdly. For the sons of his world are more shrewd in the generation than the sons of light. He's talking about the children of petition. And I say to you, make friends of yourself by unrighteous mammoth. Then when you fail, they may receive you into an everlasting home. He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much, and he who is unjust in what is least is unjust also in as much. Therefore, if you have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammons, who will commit to your trust the true riches? And if you have not been faithful in what is another man's, who will give you what is your own? No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will be loyal to one and despise the other. You cannot serve Elohim and man. Okay, man. Basically, truth about this, man, you could read it yourself, man. Because like I said, man, we're not gonna really, decipher things too much, man, right now. Because either hold your hand or you drown. Is that you can't serve two masters, man. You can't be like, oh, right, well, I just want to hold on to this wickedness and let go of everything else. Nah, man, you have to let go of everything, man. And, man, it ain't easy, man. I go through that, man. I had to let go of fornication and getting faded, man, and that was pretty hard for me, man. And having a short temper, man. So, hey, man, stay the course, man, and we're going to finish it off with John, Yahukanan, um, um, chapter 6, verse 22, the bread from heaven. On the following day, when the people who were standing on the other side of the sea saw that there was no other boat there except that one which his disciples had entered, and that Yahushua had not entered the boat with his disciples, but his disciples had gone away alone. However, other boats came from Tiberias near the place where they had ate bread after the Most High had given thanks. When the people therefore saw that Yahushua was not there, nor his disciples, they also got into boats and came to Capernaum, seeking Yahushua. And when they found him on the other side of the sea, they said to him, Rabbi, when did you come here? Yahushua answered them and said, most assuredly I say to you, you seek me not because you saw the signs, but because you ate of the loaves and were filled. Do not labor for the food which perishes, but for the food which endures everlasting, which the Son of Man will give you, because Yahweh Elohim has set his seal on him. Then they said to him, what shall we do that we may work the works of Yahweh Elohim? Yahushua answered said to them, this is the work of Elohim, that you believe in him whom he sent. Therefore they said to him, what sign will you perform when then, that we may see it and believe you? That work will you do? Our fathers ate the manna in the desert, and as is written, he gave them bread from the heavens to eat. Then Yahushua said to them, most assuredly I say to you, Moses did not give you the bread from heaven, but my Father gave you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of Elohim is he who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. That's Yahushua. Then they said to him, Adonai, give us this bread always. And Yahushua said to them, I am the bread of life. He who comes to me shall never hunger, and he who believes in me shall never thirst. But I say to you that you have seen me, and you do not believe. All that the Father gives me will come to me, and the one who comes to me I will by no means cast out. For I have come down from the heavens, not to do my own will, but the will of him who sent me. This is the will of the Father who sent me, that of all he has given me I shall lose nothing, but shall rise it up at the last day. And this is the will of him who sent me, that everyone who sees the Son and believes in him may have everlasting life, and I will rise him up at the last day. Selah. Boom. Alright, man. I'm gonna leave it at that, man, because it comes hard, man. But basically, man, Yahweh is the light. He's the way. Do it. You know what, man? Let's continue, man. It's called rejected by his own. Then the Jews then complained about him because he said, I ate the bread which came down from the heavens. And they said, is this not Yahushua, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know, who is then that we say, I have come down from the heaven? Yahushua therefore answered and said to them, do not murmur amongst yourselves. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up at the last day. It is written in the prophets that, and they should all be he taught by Elohim. Therefore, everyone who has heard and learned from the Father comes to me. That no one has seen the Father except he who is from the Father. He has seen the Father. Most assuredly, I say to you, he who believes in me has everlasting life. I am the bread of life. Your fathers ate the manna in the wilderness and are dead. This is the bread which comes down from the heavens, that one may eat of it and not die. I am the living bread which comes down from the heavens. If anyone eats of this bread, he will live forever, and the bread that I shall give is my flesh, which I shall give for the life of the world. Then the Jews therefore quarreled amongst themselves, saying, how can this man give us his flesh to eat? Then Yahushua said to them, most assuredly I say to you, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. For my flesh is food indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. He who eats my flesh and drinks my blood abides in me, and I in him. As the living Father sent me, and I live because of the Father, so he feeds on me. I live because of me. This is the bread which comes down from the heavens, not as your father ate the manna and are dead. Who eats this bread will live forever. These things he said in the synagogues as he taught in Capernaum. It says many disciples turned away. Therefore many of his disciples, when they heard this, they said, this is hard, saying, who can understand it? When Yahushua knew in himself that his disciples complained about this, he said to them, does this offend you? What then if you should see the Son of Man ascend where he was before? It is the Spirit who gives life. The flesh profits nothing. The words that I speak to you are spirit, and they are life. But there are some of you who do not believe. For Yahushua knew at the beginning who they were who did not believe and who would betray him. And he said, therefore I have said to you that no one can come to me unless it has been granted to him by my Father. From the time many of his disciples went back and walked with him no more. Then Yahushua said to the 12, do you also want to go away? But Simon Peter answered him and said, Adonai, to whom shall I go? You have the words of eternal life. Also we have come to believe and know that you are, the Mashiach, the Son of the living Elohim. Yahushua answered them, did I not choose you, the 12, and one of you is the devil? He spoke of Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon, for it was he who would betray him amongst the 12. All right, man, there you go, man. Take heed to that, man. I'm not even gonna interpret it for you or break it down, man. This time, man. It's basically, it's who's really about it is going to endure, man. So, hey, man, make a choice now, man. That goes for all of us, man. Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Ruach man. Glorified be the Father, Adonai, and the Holy Spirit, man. Quantum Jeshurana, man.